If I had to start again from zero, no properties, experience or contact, here's exactly how I'd build an Airbnb business to 10K a month, no fluff or hype. This is the exact same steps that I've used to build a portfolio of over 30 properties. So whether or not you're starting from scratch or you've got 1 or 2 units and you've hit the wall, in this video, I'm gonna give you the full roadmap of how I can go from 0 to 10K a month. And that's profit, not revenue. So people have their opinions about rent to service accommodation, but the truth is, it's got nothing to do with how much money you've got or connections you have. When I started, I literally had no experience or knowledge. My property knowledge was literally just knowing that there were bricks with cement in between them, and that was about it, what you needed for a house. So the only thing I did have was the willingness to kind of learn and the mindset that I'm gonna make this work. I knew I wasn't going to fail. I was just gonna have to figure it out. So you've kind of got to go into things with the same mindset. Otherwise, you're just gonna stop at the first hurdle. And I've seen a lot of people just try and start this business and just give up. If you stay resilient at the start, then I promise you it will work out. This business model was fairly difficult to get into at the beginning, but once you get the momentum and you get in the flow of things, it just starts all coming your way and becomes a lot easier at the same time. So you've just kind of got to push through that first stage. So now you've got the right mindset going into things, you can start learning the fundamentals. And the first thing is doing everything legally and compliant. You want to make sure everything's above board. So you need to set up a registered limited liability company. You need to get business insurance, register with the PRS and the ICO. And that way you're going to be fully legally compliant and you're going to be professional as well. I see sometimes people will cut corners or they start running Airbnbs through a property they've rented under their own name. I just wouldn't really advise that, especially if you do want to get to 10K a month. It's important that you're going to do this all professionally at the same time. So when you do set up everything properly, you're pretty much going to be client ready from the beginning. So if a deal was to fall in your lap, you're in the position to take it on. And then what you can start doing is understanding your gold mine locations. So this is basically the areas that you want to operate in. I always recommend having maybe 1 to 3 locations that you want to focus on. They need to have demand all year round. And if you need help on finding a location that has good demand or choosing a good location, I've got other videos on my channel you can go and check out. But this is going to be like the next step. Now the next part is you need to start finding properties for you to use for your rent to service accommodation. So this is where you're going to start pitching landlords and estate agents. Sometimes people overthink this part. I think they need fancy websites and things like that and brochures. You don't at all. If you've got the right pitch, you can just pitch people over the phone from deals that you found online, such as on Rightmove and Zoopla, OpenRent and platforms like this. And at this point, I'll probably just go for volume. Try and book in as many viewings as you can. If you can aim for booking in 3 to 5 viewings a week, then you'll have no problem in securing deals. At your first couple of viewings, you probably won't feel like you know what you're doing or feel a little bit inexperienced, but just learn from it. And my advice will be just go on these viewings, build rapport with the agent or landlord who's there, because who knows, they may have access to other properties you can take on as well. So don't feel too pressured or rigid, because the landlord may not like your vibe when you go there. So just be kind of relaxed and just have a conversation. And then potentially if you like the property, you can even submit an offer while you're at the viewing and try and shake hands and secure deals like that. But the point is, at some stage, you'll have a deal that the landlord agrees to, you're happy to take on, and then you can start negotiating. A couple of things that I would try to look for is see if the landlord is able to do any work to the property, if it requires it, if there's any maintenance works that he's doing, or equally try and negotiate no deposit, because that's going to save money from your upfront cost as well. Then once you do sign contracts, your only focus should literally be trying to get that property ready in as quick as time as possible. Less than 7 days, ideally more like 3 to 4 days. But you just need to plan, budget and be organized. You can get things done as quickly as possible, because you want to just eliminate any time where you're paying rent for a property and not having a guest in there who's paying you, because now you're losing money. So get it ready as quickly as possible, including your listings as well. So your listings are how you're going to market your property, market your Airbnb. These are predominantly going to be done through the OTA platforms such as Airbnb and Booking.com. But at the same time, these aren't the only places where you can get bookings from. There are multiple other platforms and sometimes other booking agents that you can get bookings through. For example, there's a website called Comfy Workers. What they do is they target organizations, businesses and contractors for like short to medium term stays. So this is a great way to get business through contractors. Obviously, Airbnb and Booking.com, these sites are more catered towards like leisure guests, more like people on holidays and things like that. But you've got to think about your guest demographics, who you want staying in your property, or who are the people that could be wanting to book your accommodation. So there's other places like TradeStay as well. These are some great websites and agents you can get bookings through, and they can book out your calendar for long periods of time. You're not having to just rely on Airbnb, because when you become too reliant on these platforms, if they were to turn around in one day and just ban you from their platform, then your business isn't now as sustainable as you think, because you've now got to see bookings from elsewhere. So one thing you can work on is advertising as most places as you can, and then also trying to get into some direct bookings as well. So if you've advertised your property in multiple different places, then you're not going to be short of bookings. And now at this point, you're going to have guests that are coming through, staying at your property and paying you money. But it's important that if you do want to scale to 10K a month, you can't be doing tasks like cleaning and maintenance yourself. You need to outsource this and build a team who'll be able to go to the property so you don't have to. So you've got more time and you can spend your energy and focus on other areas of the business. So focus on building a good team, find some good cleaners, whether you work with a cleaning company or hire an individual cleaner yourself. You need to just find someone who's very professional and who's going to do the job very well, because not only will they be a cleaner, but they'll be the eyes of the property. They'll be able to go there and spot any damages because they'll be constantly in and out of the property more than you will. You need someone who's gonna top up the soaps when they get low, change the shampoo, toilet rolls, all these sort of things. So it's a big job that they have. So it's important that you hire the right people, because once you do, then things are gonna run smoothly and you're not having to double check everything. Things aren't getting missed at the same time. When I wanted to scale my business, one thing that I started doing was attending industry events, networking events with other people and operators within the Airbnb space, people that were doing 5, 6, 7 figures a month. And I just started copying, learning and emulating what they were doing in their business to then implement for myself. And I think it's good advice, not only just for business, but also in life. If there's someone that's done something that you're trying to do, just learn from them, pick things up instead of taking a long path of trying to work it all out yourself. And to be fair, that being said, if you are looking to get involved in Airbnb and you want some support, feel free to send me a message and I can show you how we could potentially work together to get your first unit in less than 90 days. But when I was at these events, one thing that I saw was everyone was using something called a channel manager or a property management system. This is basically a software that acts like the control center for your Airbnb business. It manages all your listings, it synchronizes your calendars to stop you getting double bookings. You can message all your guests. You can even give access to your cleaners to see the cleaning schedule. It's such a smart tool and it's something, if you really want to get to 10K a month, you've got to implement it as well. You need to systemize, and this is one of the most important systems you're going to have. But once you've now systemized and you've got the foundation, you can start looking to sort of scale up and take on more units, because you've got the one, it's ticking over, it's making money. You could be making £1,000 a month. You'll now have a little cash pot on the side that you can use to reinvest into a new deal. So go back to your landlord, ask if they've got anything else available, or go to your estate agent, ask if they've got any other stock in the local area. Because that's actually like a big cheat code of this business. When it comes to you deciding your location, which is very important, you've got an area that you can dominate in. And if you take on multiple properties, what you can start doing is actually technically overbooking them, because you can move people to other properties, almost like a hotel. You've got various different rooms available that you can put people into, and then you can start dominating a particular area and you'll understand the market, and then you'll be able to grow your business like that. So once you've got that first one, use it as leverage to get more, and then you can start rinsing and repeating the same strategy. Reinvesting profits you've taken from one deal, put it into the next, and then you can start sort of just growing your portfolio to maybe 4, 5, 6 units, all within the space of maybe 12 months. And say you've got to the point now where you've got 6 properties, you're making about 6K profit per month. You can now start looking at Airbnb management. And this is where the fun starts, because it doesn't require any upfront investment from yourself. What it involves is simply you just managing other people's properties for them and just running it as an Airbnb. So if you're managing a property for a landlord or another rent-to-rent investor who doesn't actually have time to manage the property, you just simply take a commission from all the money that you bring in through bookings. The general sort of management fee is 15%. I've even heard some people charge up to 20% management fee, but it's a great way to make money from properties, but also it kind of manages your risk as well, kind of diversifies your portfolio, because you're not having that cash outlay. You can only make money, you don't lose. It just depends on how much you can actually make. Because you've got the proof of concept with your 6 properties, you can just go to landlords in the local area to say, well, this is the results I'm achieving with my property. I could do exactly the same for you. Would you be open and interested? And most landlords probably would. At the end of the day, if their property is an investment, they want a return on their investment, they're looking for money. So if you can help them maximize their income and get a higher return on their property, why would they not trust you with it? So now you can start taking on multiple properties through Airbnb management. And because you've got the systems in place to manage everything, it becomes a lot easier to just add it to your system and scale up. And before you know it, you could literally take on 10 properties under management. They could be making you, I don't know, anywhere £400, £500, £600 a month. I've got some properties on management that do even more than that. If you get ones in, for example, prime locations in London, where the nightly rates are a higher price. But that's the only thing I'd say with Airbnb management is that because you're just taking a commission from the amount you charge your guests, that's where you make your money. So if you're in a particular area where you can only charge 50 quid a night, you've now got to look at your margins. It doesn't make sense for you to manage a property for 15% if you're only getting a few quid a night. Whereas if you've got a property in London or even maybe prime Manchester, Birmingham, if property's going for £1,000 a night, well, you're making £150 a night every time that gets booked. So you're making a decent money as well. So it's got to be worthwhile for you and the landlord as well. That's just one thing you've got to consider. You could have 8 to 12 properties, easy making you over 5k profit per month. Plus you've got your other 6 rent to rent yourself. We're now doing over 10k a month. And at this point, it's still fairly manageable. What you probably can do is get a virtual assistant, which is like a staff member who will work for you and just manage all the day-to-day run-ins, whether it be speaking to your guests, organizing cleans, facilitating maintenance and stuff like that. Just all the general day-to-day tasks of running the business. But with all the systems you have in place, it should make things a lot easier for them. And with a portfolio of 15-ish properties, you can now be making 10k a month. So that's it. That's how I'd get to 10k a month through Airbnb. And it's very achievable at the same time. I know a lot of people doing those numbers within the space. Myself, in our business, we took on 15 units in the space of just 12 months. So if you do want to grow rapidly in a short space of time, you definitely can. It's just about getting that first one and then looking to scale up from there. But your network is going to be massive. Like the landlords that you work with, other people that you speak to, especially if you do want to get into management as well, other people will refer you to other landlords and clients, or even your current management clients may look for other properties to specifically give to you. Like we've had that as well. So I know people within the space that manage 100, 200 plus rent-to-rent units, and there's no reason why anyone else couldn't get there as well. So yeah, I don't want to drag on this video any longer, but hopefully you found it enjoyable. I'll see you in the next video.